That's right. Hello, everyone. How you doing? You're very welcome to this week's Rugby View with myself, Aidan and Raftery. And the show is always kindly sponsored by Best Drive here in Roscommon Town, and that's the sponsors of Friday Sport. And to talk about all things rugby, as usual, we have Adrian Leddy from Creggs Rugby Club. Hello, Adrian. How are you? Are you well?
How you doing, Aidan?
Not so bad. No, not so bad. The weather isn't great, but there's plenty of great rugby to talk about, and that includes the Ireland's win on Saturday against Tonga. So we'll talk about that later on. But I suppose we'll talk about matters closer to home and Creggs Rugby Club. I suppose underage, the first and second team, and of course the mini rugby, which is also very important, and we love talking about. That has got underway in the last week or so as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Aidan. And it's uh, again, it's great to see it all up and running, and youths and mini rugby and all happening now again in Creggs. Great turnouts of boys and girls, and even this week we're going to have a big turnout of national schools. I was told this morning that there could be anything up to 500 boys and girls in Creggs on Thursday. So it really has taken off the ground fairly fast this year. And even the youth leagues got up and running with their under 15s last weekend away to Buccaneers. And yeah, they had a nice win against the Buccaneers to start off the season. And that all the leagues will be up and running now for the next coming weeks. And the coaches are getting all the teams and that they're ready. And there's a great numbers turning out for training as well. And thankfully that we have all the coaches in place for the youth teams and the mini rugby. And it's that's the important thing, that you have the proper setup and that they're for them when you when you get the influx of numbers into the club. And I suppose it's like when Wimbledon is on, everybody takes up a tennis racket, and the same when the World Cup rugby is at, every youngster wants a rugby ball in his hand. So rugby is the buzzword at the moment, and the popular sport. And the people, young lads and young girls like to be there, out there, and showing what they can do, and whether they can be the new Johnny Sexton coming on stream. There probably will be a few Johnny Sextons in their own mind anyway.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, and sure, it's great, and it's great that they can come out and enjoy it. And they all maybe have an idol, maybe some of the people playing in the backs or in the forwards, like there's great people like Bundyaki having a great World Cup. A lot of people are looking up to him now at the moment, and say Tyke Byrne in the forward. So they're great future people that young boys and girls will remember for a long time after the World Cup.
That's it. And of course, I suppose, like you just mentioned, the amount of kids from the national schools around the county to be 400 or 500. That's where it's key that you have all those, every one of those five pitches that you have out in Craig's as well.
Absolutely, I said we'll leave it at four, but
Four,
but
right?
yeah. So, but it's great to have them. It's great to have them, and it's great. They're all in great shape, even considering all the rainfall at the present time. They're all ideal and great coat of grass on all the grass pitches as well. So we look forward to the day, and look forward to welcoming all the various primary schools to Craig's on during the week.
And of course, I was just throwing in that extra one for luck, the way.
Absolutely, yeah. We
And
get
I suppose just to give people an update on the great facilities, obviously, the gym and all that great new building that was built over the last year or two, and the new facilities that are available, just to tell the listeners a bit about that, because it was great progress. And of course, as we know, it's all the plan. It wouldn't be possible without all the great planning that went into it. I suppose the sponsors and all the businesses around Creggs, and I suppose you know all the supporters and all the members around the club, that help fundraise for the fundraiser as well, to help fundraise for the building, because it is a serious building, and it's something that you know, it's an extra cog in the club's wheel to be able to use, and you know, I suppose it ensures the progress of the club going forward as well, to you know, go on to the next level.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do it at all only for the support that we have from the community, and we're continually fundraising. We're actually running a scratch guard thing for the World Cup final as well, and you know, it's coming up with different novel ideas that people can support the club and support it in many ways, whether they're actually playing rugby, whether they want to use the walk, whether they want to come out as a spectator, whether they want their son or daughter playing rugby. You know, they have that facilities there for both the pitches and what the new changing rooms are well on its way. We're into the tedious work now of the plumbing, the electrical work, the tiling, all the inside work that takes up the time. And again, the contractors are working away at it and it's going to be a great facility for the local community when it's all completed.
I'd say that it is a great, I suppose, focus for the community, that everyone can be. You know, you were saying about there's the pathway around the pitches and all that, so people can go for a walk in the winter time under the lights safely and things like that. So it's not just about the club, as you were saying, like in previous interviews. It's for the whole community to use as well, which is great.
Yeah, coming into the dark nights where the local roads aren't safe for walking or cycling. So it's great to have that facility there lit up, that people can go out after work in the evening and go for a nice walk. And I'm glad to say, Aidan, that it's well used, and it's, you know, probably it really took off during COVID, and it has continued to be in great demand. So and then like there's parents that drop off their sons and daughters there for training, and they themselves do a bit of exercise by taking in the walk and that there while they're waiting on their son or daughter to finish training. So it's great from that point of view that we have that facility for the parents as well.
And of course, you know, I suppose that brings us on, I suppose, to the first and second teams and the underage teams. There's been, you know, I suppose that the underage players have been busy between, you know, pre-season training for Creggs, but also there's been a lot of them involved with rugby, with Connacht Rugby as well.
Oh yeah, it has been a busy year with so many of them on the various panels with Connacht, and yeah, that's great for them, and it's great for them to play rugby at a higher level, and you know, to have boys and girls involved with Connacht, not alone to get onto the team, but to avail of the type of coaching and all that they get at interprovincial level. It's going to help them in the long run, and they also the comradeship of it, of meeting new players and meeting their comrades from other clubs as well, that they'll probably be coming up against in the league program during the year within Connacht. So you know, the youth, as you say, was extremely busy, and it will be very busy between now and Christmas at club level with all the leagues up and running.
And of course, the first and second teams now will be busy from now until Christmas and even beyond, between cup games and the league and all that. And like Creggs Rugby Club, that, you know, the first and seconds have really come on an awful lot, and they learn a lot year on year. And but the players coming through are of great quality as well, that are, you know, going into the development squad and then going and getting into the first team. But you know, I suppose the important thing to say is that it is a combined squad, really, the development team and the the first team to train together and all that. So it's very much a together thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very very much so. The first team and second team coaching all work together now, and that's a great improvement within the club, and you can see it that the development players can fit in immediately into the first team. They know the moves, they know the calls, and there's at the present time we are only putting out the one team between the first team and the development team. So that gives a great opportunity for a lot of development players to play at a higher level. So, last Saturday evening, we played Tuam in the Connacht Cup. We came out the wrong side of a narrow win. It was an extremely well contested game, played in great conditions. There was only 1 point in the difference going into with 10 minutes to play, but Tuam went out worthy winners in the end of the day. But that means now that Creggs in week's time will travel to play Dunmore in the semi-final of the Connacht Cup, and Tuam will play Galway University in the other semi-final. So that will be a good game. Dunmore have been doing very well. Dunmore have a lot of players in that would have played their rugby maybe across the world. They have a lot of players from South Africa, from different parts of Europe as well. So they are going to be a very strong side now, and it'll be a big ask for Creggs up in Dunmore in a week's time. So that's what it's all about, to get good rugby at this time of the year, and to know what we have to do when the league gets up and running.
And I suppose you just mentioned there about the game against Tuam, that they came out on the wrong side. But there's a lot of positives, I'm sure, to come from that game, even though they lost. But so what would you say would have been the learnings from that they can improve on ahead of the next game?
Well, I suppose the big thing is that we played Tuam probably without any of our first team backs, and we will have all our first team backs, and that they're back for the league. Hopefully, we will have some of them back for the semi-final against Dunmore. And it's great credit to see the likes of Mark Brandon at 40 years of age playing on the first team and there, and playing exceptionally well. And all credit to him for continuing to play the game. So you had between young and old, you had good combination out last Saturday evening. But there will be a lot of changes in that team as it goes, and then a lot of the lads that are helping out from the development squad will fall back into the development team, and that's that will mean that we'll be putting out two strong teams, and a lot of these lads now that have played a couple of games with the first team, that will help them going back into the second team again, and it means that if we have injuries on the first team, that they would be able to slot in well into the first team at any particular stage during the season.
And that brings us on nicely to Connacht as well, and obviously they're missing a few of the lads from Connacht as well. But I'm sure there's still preparations going on for the start of the URC, isn't there?
There is. They're playing a number of friendlies and that there. They had friendlies against the other provinces, and they're out against Munster this weekend. And it's a continual flow of playing different teams. They're training away, and it's great to see that the Connacht lads that did go forward to the Irish team, and that they're doing well. And it shows too that these lads what we're doing in Connacht is good for Irish rugby as well. So it's important that we continue to develop players within Connacht, and hopefully that they will continue, a number of them to wear the green shirt of Ireland as well. So it looks good. It looks good at Connacht rugby level at the present time.
And of course, not to forget our friends in the AIL as well. Obviously, Carrick Rugby Club, Sligo, and of course Buccaneers, and indeed Galway Corinthians and Galwegians and all those teams as well. They're continuing their business as well, and of course your great old rivals as well, Connemara.
Yeah, we had the league final in Sligo last Saturday between Buccaneers and Sligo. Sligo came out on top in that game. They had a good win against Buccaneers. Buccaneers were missing a number of players. So Sligo will go on to represent Connacht in the Bateman Cup against Terranure. So it's great for Sligo Rugby Club, and needless to say, they had good celebrations after they won the league on Saturday. And their second team also won in the Curling Cup as well. So all good going on in Sligo. And the same in Buccaneers. They have done the 20 side out. They have a lot of youth sides out as well. So they will be ready now for their first team and Sligo to go into the AIL, having played and tried out a number of players in the Connacht League. So again, at Carrick and Shannon level, Carrick continues to play a number of friendlies. Their youth is up and running on mini rugby, and again, a lot of good work going on in Carrick and Shannon Rugby Club. And as you mentioned, Galwegians and Corinthians played it last weekend as well, and Corinthians came out on top in that game, so they will be third in that particular league. And Connemara has still they're just getting the season up and running. They have other commitments probably there with Gaelic and whatever, so they didn't enter a team into the Collie Cup this year. So we wait and see. As you know, they'll be still about when the league comes around, and they'll be, as Connemara, they're always a hard team to beat, but there's great rivalry in the right way between Creggs and Connemara.
And of course, that rivalry is what brings out the best in both teams as well.
Absolutely, they have been very close over the last number of years. We have won some; they have too. They have probably won more than we have, but like we have got on top last year by winning the league, and that has been great for the club in Creggs, and hopefully that we can do it again this year, win back to back in the league, and we will. If all the players are fit and back, we should have a good strong team again this season.
And of course, that brings us on to the exciting times for the Irish rugby team. Like we more or less said last weekend, a predicted win, another great win. Wow, a very convincing win for this Ireland team. Unfortunately, Finlay Beelan, I think he misses out on the South Africa game with a HIA. He's having a HIA, so I think he misses out. But I think apart from Finlay Beelan, we're not too bad injury wise.
Yeah, Ireland played exceptionally well against Tonga. They were slow to start, but once they got into the game, they played absolutely fantastic rugby. Tonga had no answer to Ireland, and once Ireland upped the momentum in the game. So again, we look forward to the game at the weekend with South Africa. And, it's fantastic to see the two kind of players that started in the team of Bundy Aki and Mac Hansen having tremendous games, and particularly, Bundy really was the man of the match in the last two games. He's on fire at the moment, and let's hope that he will bring that into the game on Saturday against with South Africa. And as you mentioned, Phelan Beelan had to go off the field. He had concussion. He is going through the protocols now that a player has to go through in the professional level to see whether he will be fit to play or not, to maybe take his place on the subs bench at the weekend. But if he doesn't pass that, Tom O'Toole from Ulster will probably come into on the subs bench. But we'll just wait and see how that develops during the week.
That's it, and of course, I suppose that leaves us looking ahead now to the big match itself. I suppose the group defining game for Ireland is the South Africa game, really. And look, as well, it has to be said, Scotland are a very tough side now. They've improved hugely, and they're a very hard, tough team to beat as well. But you'd have to kind of put, in all fairness, you'd have to put South Africa ahead of them, and it's not going to be an easy game. But I mean, if they can if Ireland can keep up that momentum, there's no reason why they can't beat the All Blacks.
The warm-up games are over now, Aidan. They had a number of warm-up games there during the summer, and they had two easy enough games already in the World Cup. So Saturday's game is the big game. This is the real one at Test Rugby. The top two teams were in against the world champions in South Africa. They're a very strong physical side. So Ireland will definitely have to be on their game on Saturday to defeat them. There will be very little in the game. There'll be some contest up front now between in the forward battle, but in the scrums, mauls and rucks, and also the line out. So it'll be a very interesting battle, and then to see how the back line goes. That we will have to try and get quick ball to Johnny Sexton and to get our back line going. That's how they have played and played very well in getting the ball moving to the wings as quickly as possible. So let's hope they can do that against South Africa on Saturday. But there's big games, and don't write off Scotland either. Like that. That is definitely going to be another big game for Ireland. But let's not talk ahead of ourselves. We take one game at a time, as the old saying goes, and we'll worry about South Africa on Saturday now and see if we come out the right side of it.
Take it from there, and that's a game you're going to yourself. So we'll have a great report from you next week on that game. An eye in the sky on that one. That'll be a great one, a close up view for you. So so look, it's going to be a tough game, but if Ireland, but that's actually another point we were saying about Finlay Bealham. Who do you think who's going to come in to replace him in the team?
Yeah, it'd be Tom O'Toole would probably be the next in line from Ulster to take over that position. So sure. It's hopefully Phelan Beelan had been playing exceptionally well. It's unfortunate if he's going to lose out Saturday, but no risk will be taken. There's very strict rules now in relation to concussion, and he will have to go through all the protocols to see whether he will be fit to play or not.
And with regards to team selection for the game as well, we seen the team that lined out on Saturday against Tonga. Can you foresee any changes like those changes from the Romania game for the Tonga game? Can you see many changes because they played really well? Even the two teams, even with the changes in both matches, both teams played very well. I know you could put that down to the quality of the opposition. But this is a tougher test. So can you see any further changes apart from the Finlay Bealham change?
Yeah, I can't see any changes in the pack. I'd say the pack that started against Tonga will be the pack that will start against South Africa. It's a debate who starts the scrum half. Gibson Park or Conor Murray. That one will be, a debatable one. Johnny Sexton will start at out half. The two centres and two wingers and full back will be the same. So it like really at the end of the day, the starting team in my book, it'll be come down to the scrum half, and I have a funny feeling that he could go with Conor Murray as a result of the physicality that Conor Murray brings to the game. He probably isn't a sharp passer, but he's definitely he's another wing forward really in there as scrum half, and he'd bring the physicality to it, and that's what you will probably need against South Africa. So whether that's what he had in mind when he made that change for the Tonga game, we'll have to wait and see on his selection. And they will know best of how they're performing, how they're performing in training, and what they want to bring to the game. If they want a faster ball and the pack is on top, James Gibson Park would probably be the player that would be picked. But if you want a man to battle it out there, Conor Murray will be the one that he'd go for. So I'm shading a little bit on the towards Conor Murray, considering the type of physicality of the game that we're playing against South Africa.
And I suppose another thing that maybe some people and critics would have said maybe kind of might have cost Ireland if there were better teams is the line out. Now they were saying on RTE Sport there that was covering it that that's a key part or a springboard for most of Ireland's attacks. But they seem to have nailed that on Saturday, didn't they? Against Tonga. Yeah. So any mistakes that they might have made in previous ones, everything was pristine on Saturday against Tonga.
It was, yeah. Paul O'Connell definitely, I'd say, got different calls, and players, came up to it on Saturday, and I have no doubt that they'll have different calls and different movements for Saturday again because they're a very strong, tall, athletic team in South Africa. So they will, as I said, you will need to out muster them there in a lot of ways in the pack in order to get possession.
So listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to do Rugby View with us this week, and we look forward to looking back on that game next week.
Thank you very much, Aidan.
And enjoy France and the match against South Africa.
Right, we might be able to link up in France or that there next week.
You never know, we might do, yeah.
I'm staying on out there, but
not so bad. Yeah, we can do that. That would be
see how our link works across the sea,
Exactly. Yeah. Test it out a bit. Thanks very much. And that was Adrian Leddy from Creggs Rugby Club, and myself talking about all things rugby.